All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this because President Trump just went off in the Oval Office. Let's say Trump ambushed South Africa's president. Not only that, he showed him video footage of where this South Africa president been allowed to happen in his country, especially against white people, and the taking out of white people. I'm trying to be careful with my words, but it seems like this president from South Africa is pretty much okay with the people that stay there, of the way that they harm white people and taking out white people. And he seemed like he don't have a problem with that. Not only that, President Trump confronted him, showed him video proof of what's been going on and how white people is being treated over there in his country. So we definitely about to get ready and dive straight into this. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support, and shout out to the ones who always watch the entire video. I really, really appreciate it. And shout out to the ones that always let me know in the comment section that you did stay to the end, because it definitely helps get the video out there. So like I said, please hit that like button. I would really, really appreciate it. But we definitely got to get straight into this because this is just insane. And like I said, though, this is what we voted for. We want a president who's willing to stand up for the American people, who's willing to do whatever it takes to make America great again. And we got President Trump. So like I said, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Now, before we get to the actual clips, check this out on the screen. Say Trump ambushes South Africa's president with video footage in Oval Office. So let's go down right in here. We only going to read just this first part right here, and we're going to get on straight to the video. It's in a shocking moment during President Trump's meeting with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa on Wednesday, Trump requested that videos be displayed purporting to show evidence of violence against white people in the country. The big picture: Trump, who cut all foreign assistance to South Africa, has embraced the false accusations of genocide against white South Africans as justification for granting them refugee status in the U.S. A South African court in February dismissed claims of a white genocide as not real. Wow. In a stunning scene reminiscent of the Oval Office showdown with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, Trump asked for the lights to be dimmed before playing the videos. While Trump watched the video, Ramaphosa looked away, appearing uncomfortable. At one point, speaking over the video, Trump said the screen was displaying burial sites. Ramaphosa inquired where the scene was located, adding, "This I've never seen." Later on, Trump paged through articles from the last few days while repeating, So, like I said, President Trump even was, showing like papers of people the white people who done lost their lives over there, and it seemed like this South African president does not care at all.
From EMCA in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death. Horrible death. Death. I don't know.
But you know that
To pick anyone, white South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws. And this is all, I'll give these to you. So when you say, what would I like to do? I don't know what to do. Look at this. White South African couple say that they were attacked violently.
President Trump, when will you go and see for yourself if it isn't true?
Well, I could do that. Look, here's burial sites all over the place. These are all white farmers that are being buried. And he asks about a jet that was given. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You are so bad. You're such a bad reporter. This is one after another. This family was wiped out. I'm just looking.
Can we get a response from President Ramaphosa?
Your reaction to those videos, Mr.
President Trump.
Well, I think the videos are so. No. When you.
So, without further ado, let's get straight to this video. This is what I want y'all to listen to real quick, and we're going to get to what other people were saying about it. But check out the way President Trump just absolutely just went off and showed video and forced the South African president to sit there and watch. Check this out.
Mr. President, what would it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories, and that. Is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things, and it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South African occupy land. That's who we are. So whatever you want to do, can we drop my membership from this useless parliament?
Yes, honorable member.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. Gaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Pa, pa.
The man of D-Day in PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Suri will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Shoot to kill. Yamasa. Kill the brewer, the farmer. Kill the brewer, the farmer.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying you was not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't ever see the future.
Yeah, I mean, do you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter? They freak out. It sounds like a genocidal.
I can't take it.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses. Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen. Okay.
I mean, it's in South Africa.
We need to find out.
You can literally hear them say, we're going to shoot them with a machine gun. They're going to run. We're going to shoot them. And it seemed like they was inside some football stadium, a big stadium, and you telling me this president from South Africa didn't know anything about that? They pretty much taking out white farmers and just white people in general. And then look at the like I said, the burial site over like thousands of people going there to meet their loved ones they got taken out. And this president from South Africa act like he don't know what's going on. Like this right here is insane. And that's why I say salute to President Trump. He would have gonna be the only one there to do it. You think Kamala Harris would have confronted him like this? You think Kamala Harris would have showed proof like that? No, she don't care. She wouldn't have did this. That's why I say I'm glad we got President Trump in there to do stuff like this. He ain't scared. He's for the American people. But when you see these type of videos like this of saying we're going to shoot them, and we know they was talking about white people, white farmers. We're going to shoot them. They're going to run. We're going to shoot them with a machine gun. And it seemed like they was doing this stuff almost every day with a big parade of people. And this president from South Africa act like he don't know what's going on. So, like I said, you can even see right here on the screen, say South Africa president tried to claim whites was not being taken out in his nation. Trump just humiliated him with 5 minutes of clear video proof, leaving him almost speechless. Exactly, just leaving him speechless because he acting like he don't know what's going on when we all know that was a lie. So as you can see, even Axios say breaking: Trump ambushes South Africa president with video footage in shocking Oval Office moment. Check out where Amber Duke said right here. She said, what is happening in the Oval Office right now is incredible. Trump showed a video of the genocide of white farmers in South Africa and then absolutely smoked NBC when they tried to pivot to ask about the Qatari jet. So what NBC tried to do was, and that right there what really pissed President Trump off, I think we got that clip too, was Donald Trump is trying to talk to the president of South Africa about what's going on and why this president is allowing white farmers and white people in general to be taken out of his country. And you got NBC trying to pivot and take Donald Trump's mind off that to talk about something else. And he was not having it. It say Trump started flipping through a thick stack of news articles about white farmers being killed. He told the press corps. Then he laid into the South African leader, telling him, you let them take the land for no payment, and handed him the stack of news articles. You're not taking people's land away from them. And those people, in many cases, are being executed. How do you explain that? And that's what I'm talking about. So check out even right here what Tim Young said. He said, forcing the South African president to watch politicians in South Africa call for white genocide is incredible diplomacy. Other administration would have just had a standard meeting and press conference. Trump is actually trying to save lives. That's exactly what I was just saying. Even Benny Johnson posted right here, salute to Benny. He said, notice how the South African president cabinets hung their heads in total shame as Trump played videos of their party calling for the genocide of whites at the White House. They refused to even watch. What a perfect metaphor. Trump is a genius. So look at this right here. You can see like his cabinet of South African cabinet right here. They don't even want to look at the video. Look at this.
But we are starting with this whiteness.
They don't even want to look.
We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot, kill, Gamanza, kill the Bua.
Don't want to look.
Kill the Bua, the farmer. Pa, pa, pa. Shoot to kill, Gamanza.
Look at them. They saying shoot to kill. And talking about white farmers, like I said before, white people in general. Even his own cabinet don't even want to watch. And you telling me this guy's the president of South Africa and he don't see any of this? There's no way he don't see any of this. He sees this. He didn't know he was going to be confronted like the way he got confronted. So, and like I said, even Scott Jennings pretty much went off on it because, of course, you already know how CNN is. They always trying to cover up, you know what I'm saying, for the South African president. But like Scott Jennings said, he said, whether you call it a genocide or not, the fact is white farmers in South Africa are being taken out. How many more need to get taken out before the left is satisfied with the terminology? It was a total boss move by President Trump to confront the South African president today. So listen to Scott Jennings.
Whether you call it a genocide or not, the facts are white farmers in South Africa have been murdered. A lot of people have tried to cover this up. A lot of people in, I think, media in the United States have tried to cover it up. Obviously, the South African government doesn't want to talk about it, so it was kind of a boss move for Donald Trump to roll that television in there today. And I think even the agriculture minister in the Oval Office confirmed that these people are, in fact, being murdered. So my question is, if it's not a genocide today, how many do we want to let get murdered so that people around here can be satisfied? Okay, now it's a genocide. Let's let a few more. I don't understand. We're talking about 50-something people they were trying to let in, and everybody's losing their mind after we let in 20 million illegal immigrants over the last several years. The president is trying to prevent genocide from happening any further to these people. They are clearly being discriminated against. Some have been murdered. This was an interesting spectacle in the Oval Office today, but it had to happen because I don't think anybody was telling the truth about it. Whether you call it,
as you just hear what he said, you know what Scott Jennings said. It was a boss move for President Trump to do that. It was definitely a boss move. And let's check out this clip right here as well.
Any questions, please?
Mr. President, we welcome white Afrikaner refugees here. Can you explain to Americans why it's appropriate to welcome white Afrikaners here when other refugees like Afghans, Venezuelans, Haitians have all had their protected status revoked?
Well, this is a group, NBC, that is truly fake news. They ask a lot of questions in a very pointed way. They're not questions, they're statements. We've had tremendous complaints about Africa, about other countries too, from people. They say there's a lot of bad things going on in Africa, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. When you say we don't take others, all you have to do is take a look at the southern border. We let 21 million people come through our border, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. They came from all over the world. In many cases, they're criminals. They come from prisons. They come from mental institutions. They come from street gangs. They're drug dealers. So don't say that we didn't take them. We're trying to get them out as fast as we can. And we're doing record business on that. And we just won a big case where we're allowed to send back hundreds of criminals to Venezuela. Just won that today in the Supreme Court. I'm happy to hear. But we do have a lot of people are very concerned with regard to South Africa, and that's really the purpose of the meeting, and we'll see how that turns out. But we have many people that feel they're being persecuted, and they're coming to the United States. So we take from many locations if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on. And we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because I know you don't want that. it's a kind of a different meeting. Normally we have meetings, we talk about trade, and we'll be talking about trade and other things. But that certainly will be a subject that comes up. Yeah.
So, and like I said, man, I'm so happy that we got, like I said, somebody like President Trump, to really do this, to really sit down and just, confront this guy and let him know what is going on in his country is wrong. I mean, like, this is just different sides of clips. You can see Elon Musk is right here. You see Pete Hegseth. You see J.D. Vance. So everybody is here to see exactly what's going on. So it's just interesting that, that this guy is allowing this to happen. And like I told y'all plenty of times, like even President Trump, he was just pissed off because he even handed him like the papers of the farmers that lost their life. You can see right here, it said, ladies and gentlemen, President Trump is pissed off. He just handed the South African president a large file full of white farmers who have been taken out recently. Think about it. This is recently. And then, he just asked no question about it. Look at this.
So the issues that concern you as the United States.
Those are all recent. And those are all deaths.
Yeah, in many ways, I mean, one should say you are a partner.
So, and like this, and like you got to look at this, they got 1.7 million views of people just really seeing this. And like I said, people are just going off. So it is what it is. Like, like this right here is crazy that something like this happened. So like I said, President Trump just pointed out the fact that, hey, man, you got to do something about this. This crap has to stop. So he did like pretty much point out like a lot of the farmers who lost their life and stuff like that. And we'll see what happens. So I will keep y'all up to date with everything that's going on. But like I said, thank you all for watching, especially the ones that made it to the end. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.